Welcome back to Trojan Sports Now, and with softball season just around the corner, today our guest is going to be the head coach of the softball team, Coach Melanie Davis. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And as I said, softball is right around the corner. Your team has been practicing hard. I know you had a good fall schedule, but just talk about what it looks like going into the season.
Well, it looks really good. I think our kids worked really hard during the off season as well as the fall, and they're have been working hard now for a month. We came in about 3 days before school started and did some 2-a-day and 3-a-days, and we gained some mental toughness and really gained an understanding of what we were looking for them in the spring. And they've worked really hard. We'll know a lot a week from today when we open up, but I think they're ready to test the waters and see how they can do against some tough non-conference teams.
Now, you've got a lot of players coming back, but you also lost quite a few. Talk about some people that are going to look to step up, and also some newcomers that'll be playing a big role.
Right. Well, we're of course, you're always looking for things out of your senior class. We are returning, our leading hitter that we're returning is Hannah Wren, who is looking really good and getting back fit after having to take some time off in the fall. And we're looking for some big things out of her offensively. She's joined by Caitlin Ortiz, who's another senior, and then we have a lefty senior pitcher, Michaela Hamilton. So we'd like to have those kids step up and have good senior campaigns, all three of them. Then we have, quite honestly, a lot of new faces we're going to be counting on as well. We have a junior college transfer who will take over our center field position, Ebony Wright. She's from Texas, and she brings a lot of speed and a lot of savvy in the outfield. We also have a lot of pure freshmen that we're going to be counting on. With the pitching staff, we have Rachel Rigney, who's joining our returning staff, but several quality kids that we could mention in particular. Chandler Griffin looks to be in the heart of the lineup and possibly take over third base. That's where we're looking at right now. As well as freshman Amanda Winters has had a really good fall campaign, swings the bat real well for a lefty, and we're counting on big things for them, as well as some other kids in our sophomore and junior classes as well.
Well, how important is, with that, all the newcomers, to have that fall schedule to play some actual other competition rather than just yourselves? How important was that fall season?
Well, it is very important. It's just really a small stepping stone and a very small measuring tool, because we do play junior college kids. Right. And those junior college kids, they're very good position players who are challenging to take the jerseys of our current kids. You know, they're out to impress us and try to secure a spot at a four-year school. But the downside of that competition is that the pitching is never really as good as what we'll face in the spring. Right. We did face some quality pitching with a couple of our opponents, even a couple kids that we looked at that could join our staff here at Troy. They were that talented, but a lot of the pitching is just not as strong, and so you hopefully build some confidence, but at the same time you tell your kids to understand that they're going to face a lot tougher pitching when you're facing top 50 Division I programs, and so they have to continue to work hard with that bat, eliminate those holes in their swing so that they can face the opposing pitchers who are talented in all 56 games we'll play in the spring.
Well, speaking of some top 50 competition, you've got a tough schedule again this year, as you normally do. You play in, I believe, 5 different tournaments when I was looking at your schedule, and you've got a good one here at home in a few weeks. Talk about that one.
Well, we open up at home the second weekend of the season. Softball at the Division I level, everyone spends the first 4 to 5 weeks playing in big tournaments, trying to get the biggest number of games you can against quality opponents, to try to raise your RPI and try to be in a position to get an at-large bid should you fall short in winning your conference. But our tournament that we have here at home, our big marquee team that we're bringing in is the Virginia Tech out of the ACC, and we know they'll be a great challenge. They were one of the top teams in the ACC last year, went to the postseason, did really well. They've got good pitching, good speed, good power, and we're looking forward to bringing them to town, and we'll play them on the second day of the tournament on the Saturday, and then hopefully we'll get to play them again in the playoffs for the championship on Sunday. So that'll give us a great chance to face quality competition here at home. And
a familiar face on the Virginia Tech team will be coming back. Barbara Sherwood, talk about her.
Well, Barb had a great career here at Troy and then worked for me as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator for 6 years. So she almost made Troy her permanent home, and then stepped out and is doing really well, has coached in the Big Ten and has coached at 2 different schools in the ACC, and we're really proud of the job that she's done at Virginia Tech, has helped get them back to the regionals after they lost Angela Tenser the year before she came and joined the program. So she's doing really well there, and as I tell everyone, we'll welcome her back as we do. She comes back for every homecoming, and we'll welcome her back, but hopefully leave her here, have her leave here a little disheartened as possibly a runner-up finish instead of winning our tournament.
Exactly right. Well, you've got that good tournament. What about some other ones, and what other competition will we be seeing this year?
Well, we open up at the Mississippi State tournament. We'll have a big challenge there on day one where we will play Georgia State and Mississippi State. That's a tough combination with Georgia State winning their conference and returning their entire team. Van Studeman, who's a former coach at the University of Alabama and actually helped recruit the team that won the national championship last year, has been at Mississippi State now. This is her second year, and they'll be a really tough opponent that we'll play while we're there, as well as the other two games that we'll play on Saturday there. The other tournaments we go to, we'll go to Florida State, which will always be a tough tournament. Right. We go to Kennesaw, where we'll see Virginia Tech again, Georgia State again, as well as some other tough teams. And then when we go out on our spring break trip, we're combining a trip with our North Texas series that we is our second series of Sun Belt play. And we're going to play at the the Texas Tech tournament. Texas Tech has a beautiful complex. They're a very strong team in the Big 12, and they'll provide some serious competition for us, and we'll swing down and play Texas State, who's joining the Sun Belt Conference the next year, getting us a little familiar with those teams we'll be facing in the all-important Sun Belt Conference play over the next few years. And so we have a pretty challenging schedule. Once we play that tournament at home in 2 weeks, we're really on the road for the next month, and our kids are going to have to like one another and like their staff and get through that and hopefully bring some big wins back to Troy to get us ready to open up conference play.
And when you do open conference play, it doesn't get much easier because, I mean, you've got a tough Sun Belt schedule. You will be traveling back and forth with plenty of home games as well. Talk about what we'll see in conference.
Well, in conference, you have the perennial #1 team in conference is Louisiana Lafayette. They've just had the strongest tradition. Although I think there's a lot of parity in the Sun Belt Conference. We pulled off a big win against them last year when they were undefeated. They were about 24-0 and in the top 25, and we were able to knock them off. Right. Unfortunately, we only did that once out of the 3 games. But they'll be a tough opponent. South Alabama only been in existence for about 6-7 years, but they have a great program. Made their first trip to the NCAA's last year. And then everybody in the league, whether it's the number 9 team out of the softball rankings or the number 1 team, they're all tough quality opponents. They have great players, great coaches, and that's why we play a tough non-conference schedule, because we need that to get prepared for our Sun Belt Conference play. So there's no rest from games 1 through 56. You really can't take a breath. You've got to put your best foot forward, which is really what you have to do in life, and hopefully that'll help prepare these girls for their futures outside the softball diamond.
Well, and one thing to look forward to at the end of the season is the conference tournament, and that's going to be at home this year, and hopefully that'll be a benefit to the team. Well,
I think so. We, throughout my history here, we've been very successful at home. That's largely due to the great support we get at home. The students come out real well, the fraternity guys, the parents, the local guys, the donors, the backers, they all do a great job of supporting us, and our kids take great pride in one of our team goals is to defend our turf really well at home. We did that real well last year in non-conference play, but didn't do really what we wanted to in conference play at home. So one of our top goals is to defend our home turf, and we need the local people to come out and support like they always do. You know, we have a great atmosphere there, similar to baseball, where you can come out, grill, and you know, I probably shouldn't shout this out, but you can bring your pets out as long as there's not any fierce, ferocious pets that will join the ranks. But you can come out and have a good time, and our kids really appreciate that support. And I think it's, usually as we start playing a lot in March and April, the weather turns out pretty, and it's a beautiful setting there. So we'd love to have that great support and get used to winning on that field, and hopefully bring home a conference tournament and championship and that automatic bid that we fight so hard for every year.
Well, I know you haven't even played this season yet, but I'd like to look a little bit ahead to the future and some of the facility upgrades you're looking into. I know the new athletic director, John Hartwell, has talked about helping y'all out and taking it up a notch. I mean, it's a great facility, but it can always be better. And what are some of the things he's talked about doing for y'all?
Well, first of all, it is a great facility, and we're very proud of it. We've enjoyed being in there now for 11 years, and but it's like everything else. All the other Division I teams in the state have made significant upgrades to their facilities, and the name of the game is recruiting, and so unfortunately we have to try to keep up with the Joneses, even though I don't particularly like that philosophy. But we're in great need of having, number one, our cage covered. Our kids work really hard. They are challenged to work a lot on their own, and when the weather's inclement, they're not able to do that.
Right.
I do have times when kids go out in the rain, and we'll be down there taking cuts in the light rain and in the cold weather. And when they have that type of work ethic, we do need to give them a covered cage where they can, the state-of-the-art thing now is to go in and swipe your ID, and that gets you into the cage. If they want to go in after studying for a final and take a break, or studying for a midterm and take a break to take some cuts, or maybe they've had a fight with their boyfriend and take some whacks at the plate. We'd love to have that, and we wanted to have that facility. Also, when the facility was designed, there were some sightline issues with the design when we first built it, and we've wanted to fix those now for the 11 years we've been there. And fortunately, it's in the plans for us to be able to knock those dugouts down, move them down, and create some big grandstand seating, some picnic areas that are up closer to the field to play than just the outfield deck. Right. So it's going to be great when we can get it done, and our goal is to try to get that construction underway in the summer. We've been very adamant about doing our part to try to make that happen, but we're a little short in our funds, but working real hard to try to get over the hump so we can break ground hopefully in June.
Well, and as you said, I mean, Troy doesn't do anything second class, that they're going to do it first class, like the baseball facility and like the new basketball arena. If you've been to those places, they're top notch. So you're just trying to take your facility to that next level and hopefully get it up there and make it easier to recruit. I mean, just say, hey, look at this, and the girls just want to come here.
Absolutely. I used to believe that that if you love the game, you'd play in a cow pasture, and of course they do. And our kids don't have any problem with that, but it's the nature of Division I athletics, the nature of where we are now 20 years after coming to Troy and not being at the Sportsplex and playing on intramural fields. And it is an important part of recruiting. It's an important part of, as Dr. Hawkins has told us, he wants to give us the facility that our girls deserve. And I know John Hartwell, he believes in the wow factor. He wants to do everything we can to get this facility upgrade for our girls. But Dr. Hawkins has really been trying for the last couple of years to come up with a good plan for us to be able to get in that facility. He's pledged a great amount of dollars on the part of the university, and he's challenged us to raise dollars, and we've been very fortunate and had some great friends come forward and help us with that fundraising. We're over halfway to our goal, but we still are a little short, and we're willing to do whatever's necessary to get folks to help us. I know that's the Trojan way. The city's helped to build up the football stadium, the arena. Different people have helped to step in and just, reach into their pockets and help us make things happen. And hopefully they'll continue to do those great things that will help us have another story on here about breaking ground for the upgrades. Our goal is June, because we do have a senior class that I think is very deserving of having that facility. Our local little stud, Taylor Smart, will be a senior next year. People can't believe that, but I really hope she can get in that facility as a local player and enjoy an upgrade to the facility.
Well, and not only would it help bring better athletes, it would also help bring better opponents, better tournaments, and maybe more events like high school tournaments to the city as well.
Absolutely. We believe in sharing our facility, and we have high school teams that come and use it when they can. We've already had a phone call and a conversation and a commitment from the University of Alabama, who are the defending national champions, to come and help us christen that facility in 2014 if we're able to do the upgrade. And when the University of Alabama comes, we'll be charging admission. And if you've ever been to one of those games, we pack it out. We had 1,800 fans here, and those fans don't just come in here and sit at the softball game and buy a hot dog. A lot of times they come spend the night, do brush our great restaurants here in town. So it's a great economic impact. We actually hosted a tournament last fall as a part of a fundraiser for our facility, and we had 45 teams come to Troy, and they stayed the whole weekend. It made a great economic impact, and the fact that those kids get to use our facility and the fact they would get to use an even better facility can just help those types of events grow.
All right, Coach, well, thank you for joining us. We are out of time. But fans, you hear that? If you've got the opportunity, if you've got the money to do so, help out our Trojan teams, not just softball, but all of them, Trojan Warriors, and anything you can do to help. But, Coach, thank you for joining us, and good luck on this season.
Thank you so much.
Trojan Sports Now.